Right now to my next guest. She has many strings to her bow. She's a violinist, singer, model, even does a spot of acting. And it's always a pleasure to get previous guests on my show and podcasts. I'm in the company now with the one and only Susan Aquila. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you so much. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, it's great. And I always said to you, well, I didn't always say to you, but I did mention last year, this year was going to be the year for you.
Yes, and it is moving along quite well. I'm very pleased with how
That's
things.
good to hear. And I know it's been a while since we last kind of interacted. First up, how are you and what you've been up to since, we last met?
I'm doing very well. I'm living now between New York and San Diego, so I'm on both coasts of the US, so it's a lot of fun. But I have a new single that just came out 2 weeks ago called I Took It For Me, and I'm releasing in a couple of days a music video for that. I also have a whole new band together, a whole new show, and I'm excited to bring that to life.
Cool. And your new singer, we'll talk about that in any minute. So it seems like you're going in the direction that you would like to go,
Yes.
where you're steering the ship, which is good. I just wanted to ask, for my listeners as well, who don't necessarily know you, in your younger years, was a path into the arts something you always wanted to pursue?
Oh, yes. I knew since I was about 4 years old. As soon as I saw people playing instruments, I was like, that's it. That's what I'm doing. And I just had to wait until the violin was put in my hands when I was 7, but I had to wait for it to come to me, but I knew what I was going to do.
Fabulous. And of course, on to today. One of the reasons wanted to get you on the show is to chat about your new exciting new record, which you just says I took it from me. Can you just divulge a little bit more about this new single?
Yes, it's called I Took It For Me. Um, and it was the first thing that I wrote after being in a toxic relationship, actually, a toxic business relationship. And I was just really angry and just really mad at myself for allowing someone to try to take control of my life. And it was just right from the soul, just wrote those lyrics, came out, and it sat around for a while, and then I took it to Drew Yole, who's an incredible producer, and he tweaked the lyrics. He wrote new music. He got the production value better, and it's something I'm really proud of. And my collaboration with Drew and with Doug, his brother, who's an incredible drummer that I met on the Joe Jackson tour. Um, the two of them really helped shape this song, and I couldn't be happier with how it turned out.
And with your new single, would it be fair to say it has a kind of pop rock element to it?
It does. It's my first little step into pop because I'm usually hard rock. And it turned out that way. When I first wrote it, it was hard rock, but then it sort of just kept morphing and shifting into this popish thing. And it's even though it's releasing anger, it's a very fun song and very upbeat song of a woman taking her power back.
And your new single, I Took It For Me, where was it like recorded? And what was the recording studio experience like in the making of this record, working with everyone, your co-writers and fellow musicians?
Well, we it was recorded in New Jersey. I had to think about it, I almost said New York, but it is in New Jersey. So we went with a lot of stuff was done in Drew's studio, in his personal studio. But the vocals were done by Dave Bennett, who's Tony Bennett's son. And we went to his studio to record the vocals. And so that was exciting because I mean, I walked in and there was like 10 Grammys on the wall and I was just like, what am I doing here? But it was so much fun. Everyone was so supportive, and it's my journey back from a little hiatus. So I was a little nervous, but everyone was so kind and so supportive. So it was a great relationship.
And what would you like most to resonate with the audience on this new single? For example, is there a message in the song the listener can relate or connect with?
Yes, it's a couple of things. One, it's about picking yourself up and starting over after you've been knocked down. Just keep picking yourself up. But also too, it's okay to, if you find yourself in a terrible situation, a relationship, something like that, and you've lost your power, take your power back. It's okay. Take it for you. And I took it for me literally means I took my life back for me. I gave it over to someone else, and now I'm taking it back for me. So that's the message behind that song.
That's great. And I'm right, am I right? There's a music video release for this record. What was the experience in shooting that?
A lot of fun shooting that. Up until a day or two before the shoot, I was panicking because we still hadn't had an idea, but it all really came together. The director, Emily Haffel, really came up with some good concepts, and then we all sort of just went with it that day. So it was really exciting to see something come together out of like panic and we don't know what we're gonna do. But it was shot in Los Angeles and at Studio Space LA, and we just had a tremendous time making it.
Hmm. And you've got your new single out, but you've also released a string of other singles as well. So you have been a busy bee.
Yeah.
One instrumental I've come across, which you featured on, was called For Mahira.
Yes.
And I looked on the playlist for that exclusively for or aimed for like restaurants, dining establishments.
Yeah.
And what's it like when you hear, your music being played, when you're out and about, whether it's, you're listening to your music or you hear people who have heard your material, like, eating in a restaurants or drinking.
It's actually a lot of fun. You're eating in a restaurant and then you hear your tune come up, and it's always gives me goosebumps, and it's just really exciting to know that something you've created is out there, even if it's background music in a restaurant.
Hmm.
It's
Bit of
nice.
ambience.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with these new recent releases, will they give you more scope to release much more new music or projects in the near future? Or a tour you may be permitted to share with us?
Yes, well, I plan to be back in the studio again in September for another single, and I'm trying to release a single every 3 or 4 months if I can with music videos. And my band is just being formed. We're writing the show, it's coming together. So we'll be playing out in the fall, is what I
Hmm.
suspect. So keep a lookout because I'm going to be performing soon and be on the road really soon.
That's amazing to hear. And it's a work in progress then.
Absolutely. And I love the process.
Yeah, and about process as well, writing, recording, practicing, playing live, out of them options, which do you enjoy the most?
Oh, that's a tough question because I like them all, but performing live for me is the biggest thrill. I just love being out there and sharing new music and interacting with people and seeing your music connect. That's the biggest joy.
Another track I listened to yours, forgive my pronunciation if incorrect, is Sudu Noir or
Oh,
Sudunoi.
Sudunoi. Sudunoi. It's
And
Italian.
do you enjoy recording and singing in different languages?
That was the first one I tried, but I very much did. It was really fun to learn, and it's Italian, and I have an Italian background. Both my parents were born in Italy, so it was nice to reconnect with that language and do that song.
Hmm. And do you like revisiting your some of your previous discography?
Yes and no, because you're always improving, and so when you listen back, you're like, oh, why did I do that like that? Why didn't I tune the brass, or why didn't the strings better? So it's a little hard to hear some of the old stuff, but it's all learning, and so it's an important thing to go through.
Hmm. That's understandable. Just wanted to ask about another track you released some years back called 120 as well.
Oh yeah, the 120. Forgot about that one.
What's the meaning behind that track, and do you still get feedback from that one?
I do. Yeah, people like the energy of that one. That's just a song about hitting the road and just going somewhere and just escaping and freeing yourself of any restraints of your life. So it's just about jumping on a motorcycle or jumping in a car and taking a road trip.
And the number 120, anything to do with 2 hours, like 60 hours
No,
equals 120?
no, but that's interesting though. I hadn't thought of that. No, I think that 120 was the highway, the 120. Yeah.
Got it. Another track you release as well. Really catchy one. You Do It To Me as well. That's doing reasonably well on platforms too.
Yeah. Yeah. Why are you taking me down memory lane? Yeah, that was that's more of a vibe, sexy vibe
Hmm.
going on that one.
Amazing. And you are an independent artist.
I am.
And what do you enjoy about that aspect?
Uh, well, Well, I used to be signed, but and I really did like that. I liked the support of the record label. But the good thing about being independent is you really are your own boss, and you have total say in what you're putting out there and how you're being viewed in public. So you have control of your image and what you want to do.
That's more than a fair enough comment. And who have been your influences and inspirations over the years, whether it's like a violinist or a performer?
Jimi Hendrix is my number one inspiration. I just thought he was an incredible artist and performer, but I also looked up to him because he always was working on his craft. From interviews and what I've heard is that he always had his guitar with him and he was always practicing, and I really respect that of pushing your craft and working on it just 24/7. But Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and I love Billy Joel. I just think he is an incredible artist as well.
Some good artists there. Well answered. And places as well. With being a musician, you travel to a lot of places around the world. Has there been a memorable place in the world you have visited or performed in?
Oh, well, that's a good question too. Well, I always like to perform in Carnegie Hall, but I am from New York. The Carnegie Hall is just a wonderful place to play. But last year we toured all of Europe with Joe Jackson, and I really enjoyed, well, actually enjoyed your hometown of Birmingham. I really had a lot of fun performing there and actually meeting you in person. And I just loved all of the UK. And Copenhagen, and I don't even have one particular city because I enjoyed every minute of it.
Great. And you're based in San Diego, or you spend a lot of time there. What's that culture like? Do you get a lot of Mexican influences there because it's on the border?
There, yeah, we are close to the border. It it's just I'm enjoying because I'm bi-coastal from New York, but I'm always been raised in New York and living in New York. I'm just really enjoying the sunshine and the weather more than anything else, and I think that's relaxing me to write more. And I just feel like I have a little more opportunity here as an independent artist, believe it or not, than I was having in New York. So the influences are more a little more peaceful, quiet, to get my work done.
Great. On to my next question now. I asked you this before in person, but in my interview I haven't. As an emerging musical artist, you travel, as we mentioned. How do you manage to be organized and kind of juggle everything?
Uh, I'm laughing because only this morning I was like, "Oh my God, if somebody puts one more thing on my schedule today, I'm gonna like." I can get overwhelmed, but to juggle, I just try to make sure I kind of write everything down in what order it is, and I really just try to black out a schedule so I just am going from A to B to C in a relaxed fashion.
Mhm.
But sometimes it's in the freelance world, sometimes it's all or nothing. Sometimes you're not doing anything for weeks, and then all of a sudden you have, 10 things in one day. So it can get a little overwhelming, but the strategy for me is just to plan out my schedule so that I could just see how it's all going to flow, and then I tend to relax because I know I'm going to get to everything.
Some helpful words of advice there. And I know we have like other like-minded musicians as well who might find that, helpful, especially during these times. Everything's so fast and technological.
Yeah, and we're expected to do so much more now. We're expected to do social media, do your promotion, in addition to writing the songs and performing them. So it's a lot more work than it used to be.
Sure thing. And what's one thing that you can share with me and my listener which helps make you stand out in, this entertainment industry?
Uh, for me, I believe it's the electric violin that makes me stand out. So that added feature, um, I believe really electrifies. That's not even a pun, electric violin, but electrifies the music, and that it's not just a violin; it's a six-string fretted electric violin, so it has a whole different flavor than your regular violin. So I think that's really what makes me stand out. And also, I really like high, fast-paced grooves, so I'm definitely my music has a lot of groove factor.
Great. I've seen you live as well, and you rock the joint.
Thank you.
What are the three things you can't live without as well, when you're traveling the road or, when you're just away?
Um, Chocolate. I always have to have some chocolate on hand. Um, it's so funny. My violin. I always have to have my violin near me, and good people around me. I like to have really good, fun people around me to experience everything with. When you do things by yourself, it's fine, but when you're experiencing it together, it's so much better.
Hmm. And where's best for people to follow you on social media, emailing lists, or streaming platforms?
The two best ways are Instagram, Susan Aquila Music. Facebook, it's Susan Aquila, and I really have been doing everything through those two platforms. I will expand. I'm going to get on TikTok. I promised myself by September. But those are the best ways to get me right now.
Mm. I'm the same with TikTok. I chat a lot with, because I don't drive with taxi drivers, and they say, get yourself on TikTok. It's a game changer. But I guess as we are saying, you can only do so much. And, with everything going on, everything's time consuming.
Right. Oh, I do have a YouTube channel, so you can find me Susan Aquila on YouTube.
Great. Well, strongly advise my listener to check them out and subscribe or subscribe or follow.
That would be
And I think
wonderful.
also for me really to do now is play your new track on my show. Would you like to introduce it on?
Yes. Coming next, my new single by Susan Aquila, I Took It For Me.
Well, it's great catching up with you. Always a pleasure. Susan Aquila on today's show.
Thank you for having me. It's always good to see you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Likewise. Susan Aquila there.